Here come the Aggies. Texas A&M just landed their second five-star commitment in the 2024 cycle. Let's bring on national analyst Sam Spiegelman. Sam, this was a major recruiting battle. It came down to Texas A&M, LSU, Oklahoma, and Ohio State. How did Texas A&M win out?
Yeah, it came down to relationships. It came down to defensive line coach resumes, and I know that it may not be the closest school to home, but it's the second closest SEC school to Lafayette, Louisiana, which is a small town school in the central Louisiana, a lot like College Station. I think there was a level of comfort with not only the town, but with Dom's major. He wants to be a computer science engineer. A&M has a great educational area in that department. And then it came down to the defensive line coach resume. Elijah Robinson is one of the most decorated and respected defensive line coaches, not only in the SEC, but in the country. Texas A&M has made Louisiana a top target zone under Jimbo Fisher, along with obviously the state of Texas. But they have really dipped into the boot over the last couple of cycles, landing guys like Edgerrin Cooper and Jacoby Matthews. And you can add Dom McKinley to the list of blue chip five-star recruits that Jimbo Fisher and Elijah Robinson have brought over now to College Station.
How dominant of a player can McKinley be at the next level? What stands out about his game to you?
I think what stands out is he's just beginning to scratch the surface. He's 6'5" and a half, 280 pounds. I think he ran a 4.5 at the beginning of the year, and he's been living in the weight room. When I first saw him in March or February, he was down during track season, and now he's up north of 280 pounds. Gotten to see him play a couple times during the spring, the summer, and in his jamboree, and again we'll see him week one. But he pops off the ball. He's explosive. He plays multiple positions up front, off the edge, inside, where I think he ultimately lines up down the road at A&M. And he requires two, if not three, offensive linemen. You talked about teams last year were not so afraid of Dom McKinley, and then all this offseason they're talking about how to stop him, and coaches in his high school district. And you see the way that he's able to beat those double teams. He's able to manhandle opposing offensive linemen. He's also extremely athletic. He's extremely long. And I think he's really just scratching the surface. He makes about 2 or 3 splash plays a quarter, which is for an interior defensive lineman is just really an incredible feat.
I know this doesn't really matter when it comes to recruiting, but in your opinion, who finished second in this recruitment for Dom McKinley?
Yeah, I think it depends on at what point in time you're asking about that. I think at the finish line, I think it might have been Texas. Texas won out in a lot of key areas with Don McKinley. Like we mentioned, his computer science engineering major. I mean, it really doesn't get much better than what they have going on in Austin. And then you talk about the relationships. Coach Sarkisian and Coach Bo Davis have some of the longest and strongest relationships with not only Dom, but members of his family. Also, at different points of this recruitment, you could also probably look at Ohio State as the leader. Much of the buzz this spring and in parts of the summer with that Larry Johnson, his resume of producing not only just NFL defensive linemen, but first-round picks at the position really captured not only Dom's attention, but members of his family. They obviously know his future can hold. It's so bright. And I think probably the biggest obstacle for Ohio State was that Columbus is just so far away from Lafayette, Louisiana.
So, I know we're 4 months away from the early signing period. So the obvious question is this recruitment over? If you're an Aggie fan watching, do you need to worry about any programs trying to flip Dominick McKinley between now and the early signing period?
Yeah, I can tell you this. Going into the September 1st deadline, much of the buzz has been so crazy. It's been all over the place with one of the more quiet, close to the vest recruits that's in this 2024 cycle, which goes to show you that anything can really happen down the road. I think the expectation from not only the A&M side, but other schools involved is this recruitment is going to stretch all the way until Dom dots on the dotted line in December. But I really do like where A&M sits going forward. I mean, it's always a big deal to land a commitment. And in this case, for Dom, it is right before his senior season after spending a lot of time mulling it over with his family. The second biggest thing is they check all of the key boxes, and I don't know if any school can really change where they're located, who the defensive line coach is, and where they stand academically in terms of Dom's major. These are the 3 key pillars of this decision. But barring coaching changes and obviously other schools, LSU still has an official visit in their back door, and other schools are not going to go anywhere like Oklahoma and Texas. But you have to like where the Aggies stand at this point in time going into December.
Just an absolutely huge pickup for the Texas A&M Aggies as we are just one day away from the start of the college football season. Aggies now are knocking on the door of not only a top 5 class, but potentially a top 3 class. So today we celebrate the commitment of 5-star defensive lineman Dominick McKinley to Texas A&M. Sam, thanks for stopping by the Inside Scoop.